and families, I miss you all so much, and since I can't be with you at the end of the school year, I'm going to take you on a digital virtual downtown Truckee history tour. So follow me as we explore all kinds of amazing places and historical buildings in downtown Truckee. Boys and girls, you've learned a lot about Truckee history, so answer some questions, tell your parents what you've learned, follow along as we explore and remember what we learned about this school year. I miss you all, can't wait to see you soon. Bye! Alright, boys and girls, this is the first stop on our Truckee history tour. This is the old Truckee Cemetery. You can check it out. There's lots of graves to see here. A couple famous ones, Jacob Teeter, our town constable, who was killed in the gunfight against him and James Reed at the bar. And he's buried here. You can also find McKechnie's, the guy that really turned Truckee into an amazing town and made all the tourism come here as well. The Cabona family, the longest running store in the town of Truckee, their family has a plot here. James Reed, who actually killed Jacob Teeter, is buried here. However, it's an unmarked grave. Remember, he was kind of cast as an outcast. Nobody wanted to talk to him anymore after he killed the town constable. He kind of became the town pariah, and so he is buried here, but there's no marker for it. So take a look. There's also a lot of young children buried here that were really little, that got sick and died at a really young age. And so take a look, be very respectful, but come check out the old Truckee Cemetery. All right, so this is stop number 2, the famous rocking stone. Come on up and check it out. This is a glacial erratic, a large stone that was brought here and it has been landed here. Now remember, this is the one, the Rocking Stone Museum, this whole building here was built by Charles McKechnie's. He was the guy that moved to town, saw this, wanted to keep it in a safe place, built a museum around it. At one point, this museum had his daughter's butterfly collection that you can now find at the Truckee Rec Center. It also housed his Donner Party relics that he had collected. He wrote a book about the Donner Party too, but he found a bunch of artifacts and bones and things like that. And he also had a lot of Native American relics and artifacts here as well. So this was the rocking stone. The Washoe Indians used this to dry their meat and fish. And remember, it used to rock at the touch of a finger. It would rock back and forth and scare away birds. Now it's been cemented in place so that it doesn't roll down and hurt anybody, right? Now, when George McKechnie lived here, Charles McKechnie, his house was where the Veterans Hall is now. And he built a bridge from his museum to his beautiful house, the Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace overlooked downtown Truckee, and he would light it up with lights in every window, and then people on the train would see it coming by and go, huh, what's going on there? What's happening? Remember, he's also the one that built the Ice Palace with the giant ice skating rink inside, and he would spray the chicken wire on the outside with water so it froze and made little crystally icicles, and there was a sled on the outside of it as well. So Charles McKechnie really is what made Truckee a town, really brought the tourists to our town, and made it what it is today. So come check out the Rocking Stone, the site of the museum, and then think about what it was like when Charles McKechnie lived here, his Crystal Palace, and enjoy the view. All right, we have arrived number 3, this is the old Truckee jail. It was built in 1875. It was continuously used as a jail until 1964. Now, back in 1875, there was no place for the town people of Truckee to put the bad guys that were causing trouble, and so they collected money throughout the town. Every family contributed $25, which back then was a lot of money, to help build the jail. Now, if you're able to, go in and take a tour of this jail. They've got special hours and stuff. Maybe this summer or in the fall they'll be open and you can go, but take a tour. There's an upstairs, there's a downstairs. At one point, the upstairs was also a hospital when they needed a place to care for sick patients and stuff. There's some really cool old artifacts and things from our town, beautiful photographs and things to check out. So, Truckee Jail. So welcome to stop number 4. This is the site of the old Gray's Station. So remember, boys and girls, you learned about Uncle Joe, Joseph Gray, the first white settler to our town. Well, this is where he set up his building that he used to kind of like serve the settlers and the people coming through town. This used to be where the horses would go. So this was a wall that would roll up and then the horses could be here. Back where the post office was just a huge open field for your horses. Gray's Station. If we come around the front of the building here, we can see there's a plaque that you can read as well. This amazing story, his wife Anne really helped him and ran the business when he was out of town doing other things. So here's the front of the building, totally bored. There's a plaque over here that talks about this was the site of the town's first dwelling, the first building actually built in the town of Truckee. So it's kind of a cool thing to read about. If you're able to go inside, it can show you too where the wall kind of rolls up on the end or whatever. We're also going to take a look at Uncle Joe's cabin, another building in the town of Truckee where he was from, and we're going to head there now. Boys and girls, we're at stop number 5 on our history walking tour. This is Gray's cabin, the first permanent structure in the town of Truckee where Joseph Gray lived with his family. Now this building itself has been moved around to several different places around Truckee. This is now its permanent spot. Built in 1858, it was only 20 by 24 feet wide. And the neat thing about it is that it never once burned down with all the fires in Truckee. So that's kind of amazing because we know there was a lot of fires that spread throughout our town. So this one never burned down. The other interesting thing is that it was built entirely out of tamarack and lodgepole pine trees, and they did not use a saw. So Joseph Gray did not have a saw. He only used an axe. So if you kind of look at how the building is put together, reminds me kind of like, not Legos, those Lincoln logs. When I was a kid, we played with Lincoln logs and we stacked them together. So that's kind of amazing. Joseph Gray was really considered the father of our town. He named the town after himself, right? He called it Gray's Station after himself. And let's see, he also had the first white child born in the town of Truckee. So Joseph Gray Jr. was the first kid born here in Truckee that was white, that did not move here or wasn't a Native American. Joseph Gray eventually moved his family back to Sacramento. He didn't like the way the Chinese were being treated in our town, and so he just decided, you know what, I'm going to start new, and he packed up and he moved to Sacramento. Girls, stop number 6 is brought to you by teacher McKechnie Jr.
Hello, boys and girls. This is the first elementary school in Truckee, and these are the original steps that the little boys and girls like you walked up and down these steps. And it is on a street called Church Street, not because of the church, because of a dude was named Church.
Boys and girls, we're at stop number 7. Remember when we learned about the Washoe Indians back in the fall? We went to the Gatekeepers Museum. We learned about the Metat and the Mono and how they ground up all their food. Well, here is a Washoe Indian grinding stone. there's actually a couple here into the rock, and you can imagine the Native American women, right, grinding up their grass seeds. Remember the story we read about the Pomo Indians and the grass seed, and they would grind it up, and so there's a couple here into the rock. This is amazing. Check it out. It's right on the corner across from Gray Station, the Totally Board shop, and the brewery right there. There's a neat little park. You could have a little picnic lunch as well. Boys and girls, we're at stop number 8 on our tour. This is obviously the Truckee Hotel, right? Built in 1870. It's moved around a few times. Now it's here. It actually was originally called the American House Hotel, and guess what? Owned by Joseph Gray. When he first moved here to town, he started doing everything, right? Hotels and stagecoach stops, and he even had an ice company as well. Pretty cool things. Anyways, the Truckee Hotel is said to be haunted. There's a lot of ghost stories in it. If you're able to go inside and check out the big mirror right inside as you go up the stairs, if you look in the bottom left-hand corner of the mirror, you'll see at a certain angle the letters SOS. And story has it that there was a huge fire and a family was trapped inside, and they wrote SOS on the mirror, and that mirror is now, the SOS sign is kind of permanently burned into this, and nobody can figure out how it got there. Nobody can get it off. It doesn't come away. So check it out. There's a bunch of other ghost stories about other things that have happened upstairs in the Truckee Hotel. So if you're able to go inside, ask them if they'll tell you some of the ghost stories. Then I want to show you Moody's, which is the restaurant next door to the Truckee Hotel. If you're able to go inside Moody's, there's a beautiful mural right inside the restaurant. Honk honk, on the back wall. So there's a mural, and the owner of this restaurant says that he bought the restaurant. He was working on it, getting it fixed up to open. He was working on the ground and fixing the floor, and they heard somebody walk in and talk to them. And the boy said, hey, there's something behind that wall. And he and his partner were like, what? And they look back and there's nobody there. And they're like, that's weird. Did I hear something? Like, they both heard it though. And they're like, huh. Well, then when their workers went to tear down a wall, they got behind a wall, and there's a beautiful old mural hidden behind this wall, and it's gorgeous. And now rumor has it that maybe somebody who couldn't pay their bar bill painted that mural, and then over time it just got covered up by walls and walls and walls. But who told them to look behind that wall? If they hadn't heard a voice telling them, that would have been lost forever. So it's another kind of mystery ghost story with the Truckee Hotel and Moody's. Pretty crazy stuff. So this is our 10th stop on the Truckee History Walking Tour. This is Bar of America, but actually back in its heyday, it was Coburn Station, which was the second name for our town. If you're able to go inside, there's some really cool old photos. The bar is original with wood. There's also a mirror in the back restaurant, which is Pacific Crest, that says Coburn Station. And let's see what else. There's a really cool old cash register right on the inside as well. So if you're able to come check it out, look at number 10 on our stop. All right, so welcome to stop number 11. This used to be a mercantile and general store. It was Dress the Party, and now it's going to be the new Word After Word bookstore. But back in the olden days, this was a general store. There's an elevator that carried the meat down and produce like vegetables and stuff downstairs since it was cold down below. So the train would come through town, right? They would bring over all the meat and produce over to the store, and then they would bring it down in an elevator down below. There's a set of tunnels that connects this entire block underground. It's pretty cool. Mr. Ray and I got to go check it out one time. But anyways, kind of a neat old building. When Word After Word is open, maybe they'll let you come in and kind of check it out. We're gonna head over to the Capitol building for our next stop, number 12. Capitol building. Art Truckee's up above. But this building was built in 1870. It's been many different things. It's been a meeting hall, a town hall, a roller skating happened up there. It was a courthouse at one point. There's a beautiful old stage up there. If you're able to go up to Art Truckee and check it out in the very back, some really famous people have performed here. John Wayne, Clark Gable, Charlie Chaplin have all performed on this stage. So old building, Art Truckee, 1870. Oh my gosh, so we're at stop number 13. This is Dressed, but back in the day it was a saloon, and I just got us permission to go inside and check it out. So come with me, I'm gonna show you some cool things. So back in the olden days, this was a saloon. This red pine floor is original, and it cannot be found anywhere else anymore. There's no more red pine trees, so this is original. If you look too closely, there's square nails, which are also not found anymore, these square nails. Everything in this building is original. This is also where the gunfight happened between Jacob Teeter, our town constable, and James Reed, who was his deputy. So boys and girls, you should know about this and tell your moms and dads. But this is where the gunfight happened, in this saloon. The bullet holes are up here still in the brick wall that are original. There's one up there. There's kind of another one, if you can see it over there. But boys and girls, you should be able to tell your parents about this gunfight that happened here that ended up in killing our town constable, Jacob Teeter. Also, their brickwork is original. Something that's cool about it as well is that when they hang things in the store here, sawdust comes out from the wall, because back in the days when they were trying to prevent fires from happening, they would fill sawdust in between so that when a fire happened, it wouldn't spread to all the buildings all the way across down the whole hall, down the whole block. There's also a cool safe in here. I wonder if we could see it. Let's see. So there's a safe behind this mirror. Oh, he moved it. There used to be a really cool safe that was back here. There's also a dumbwaiter in the back. It's kind of like the elevator that was back there, where they could lower things down to the tunnels down below. So come check out Dressed, which was a saloon. So this is Cabona's. This is the longest continually operating family-owned business in Truckee since 1918. Now it's a store, but back in the heyday, it was a store and cafe, which I don't know if you've noticed that there's a giant coffee cup into the sidewalk, and it was because of that. So half of it would be a store and half of it would be a walk-up kind of restaurant cafe to eat at. And then we're gonna move over here to this plaque. This is a plaque commemorating the 601 Vigilantes. So boys and girls, you should be able to tell your parents what 601 stands for, right? This was the group in Truckee that didn't agree with the town constable, right? They wanted to take law into their own hands, and they didn't want to wait for a lawyer and a judge to decide if that person was guilty. So they would take people and they would do their own version of justice, vigilante justice, they would call it. And they would do a lot of tar and feathering and putting people on the railway and kicking them out of town. So 601 stands for 6 feet under, that's how much you got buried, 0 witnesses, ain't no one gonna testify against you, and 1 bullet or 1 body, that's it. Ah! Alright, we're gonna head to the White Buffalo, which is the site of the oldest bank vault in all of Truckee. So let's go. We're number 16 on our list. All right, this is the White Buffalo, originally the Bank of Italy in Truckee, and it is the site of an old bank vault. It looks like it's open. I'm wondering if we can go inside. Should I ask? Oh my gosh, boys and girls, they let us inside, so we're gonna check out the old bank vault. It's the safest place in all of Truckee. Come on back. This is the bank vault. You can kind of see, right, where it used to be located. It was from here all the way to this end. It was a huge bank vault, and it's still considered the safest place in Truckee. If there's ever an earthquake, this is where we want to be. This is the safe place. So the building actually stopped at this point. The vault here was the end of it. Oh, hold on, I'm dropping something.
You see the rebar?
Yes, and the rebar's coming out of the side.
On the CNET. It's right in there.
Up here.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah. Oh, I see it.
Nice. So, Bank of Italy inside the White Buffalo. Come check it out. So the nice lady here at the White Buffalo, they usually give us a rock for every one of you when we come through and check out the vault and they talk to us about it. So Brody's picking each one of you out a special rock, and I will make sure I get it to all of you at the end of the school year when I give you this video for you to watch. All right, so this is stop number 17 on our Truckee History walking tour. It's bespoke, really cute little store, but back in its day, it was called the First and Last Chance Saloon. Now think about why, right? As you're coming into Truckee, maybe from Sacramento or San Francisco, it's your first chance to stop and get a drink. And as you're leaving Truckee and heading back west to go home, it's your last chance to stop and get a drink. So the First and Last Chance Saloon, there are some cool photographs inside as well to check out, but this is stop number 17. Number 18, we're gonna drive to Hooligan's Rock, which is over in the Safeway and Rite Aid parking lot. So meet me there. Hello, boys and girls. So this is spot number 18 on our Truckee History Tour, Hooligan's Rock. Now, remember back in the olden days, Truckee was a lawless town. Jacob Teeter was our town constable, and he really did try to keep the peace. But a group of men formed the 601 Vigilantes, and they were a group that decided who was guilty or who was innocent and how to punish them. And one of the ways that they would punish people was that they would tar and feather them. And so this is the rock where a lot of people were tarred and feathered, dipped in tar, hot burning tar, and then feathers put all over their body. It wouldn't usually kill them, and then they would put them on a train and send them out of town. And this is without having a lawyer or a judge or a court case, so they were saying you were guilty no matter what. And so Jacob Teeter and Charles McLashin got together and they blew up this rock. So if you look at it, it's been blasted in half, and they were the two that decided that that was not okay. So they wanted to end the 601 Vigilantes, and they wanted to put an end to tar and feathering. So check out Hooligan's Rock. It's right by Safeway and Rite Aid parking lot. We're at stop number 19 on our history walking tour. You might have to drive to this one though. This is the Donner State Park Museum and Visitor Center. If you can, sometime go inside. The film you can watch in here is amazing. The museum is amazing. I'm giving you the scavenger hunt to do while you go inside the museum. So check all that out, and then take a little walk. Go down and see the Pioneer Monument down at the end here. This monument was built in 1895, and it cost $2,500 to build. Also, if you look at the base of it, that's how deep the snow was. So that top part, that's how deep the snow was when they were trapped here in the winter of 1846 to 1847. I'd also love for you to go down the trail and find the spot of the Murphy Cabin site. So there's a beautiful, huge rock with a plaque on it with all the names of the Donner Party, those that survived and those that didn't make it. And it shows you how the Murphy family built their cabin with the rock as one side of the wall, and then they built the other three walls coming out for their whole family. So come to this beautiful state park, check it out, learn about the amazing history in our town. Next, we're gonna go to the Donner Party Cross Memorial Site for spot number 20. I'll see you guys there. I almost forgot to tell you that when you go into the museum, there is a replica of Patty Reed's doll. Now, Patty Reed's real doll is on display at Sutter's Fort in Sacramento. But here you can see a replica of the doll and the size of it that Patty kept with her the entire time she traveled from Springfield, Illinois, all the way to California. So be sure you find that inside the museum. Boys and girls, this is the Donner Party Memorial Cross. This is the spot where the Reed family and the Graves family got trapped and ended up building their little campsite. So if you think about where the Murphy family and some other families were at Donner Park, the Memorial State Park that we were just at, think about where that's located. Think about where this is located. These families were trapped here for the winter. And the next spot we're gonna go to is where the Donner family was trapped. So we've got 3 different places where the wagon party has been spread out because of the winter and the snow and some other tragedies that happened. So think about how far apart that really is. On to the next spot. All right, boys and girls, this is our final stop on the Truckee History Walking Tour. This is the spot at Alder Creek where the Donner party, the 2 of them, Jacob Donner and George Donner and their families, were trapped here the winter of 1846 to 1847. This plaque is in remembrance of Tamsin, who was George Donner's wife, and Elizabeth was Jacob Donner's wife, and the women really that took care of these families while they were trapped here. So if you come and check this out, there's a really cool 1/3 mile interpretive loop on this trail. You can follow it all the way around. There's a bunch of little plaques to read and little signs that go around as well. So it's kind of a neat spot to check out. I want you to really think about where this is located compared to where that cross was, where the Reed family and the Graves family, and then compare that to way over at Donner State Memorial Park, where the Murphy family and others were camped. So how far apart they were spread out, I think is kind of amazing. Tamsin Donner and Louis Keseberg were the last 2 surviving people here after a bunch of people were rescued and taken back out to Sacramento. Tamsin Donner did not make it. It's still a mystery about what happened to her. Louis Keseberg was the last lone survivor here at this spot, and nobody really knows what happened to Tamsin, so it's kind of a mystery. But take this tour and learn some more about what happened to the families trapped here at Alder Creek. So that was the 3rd grade Truckee History Tour. I hope you enjoyed it with your families. I hope you gave your families much more information because you are the experts now. You can teach people about what has happened in our amazing town of Truckee. We're so fortunate to live in this beautiful place, and we have such amazing history that has gone on right here. So I miss you all, and I love you, and have a great summer. Bye!